we're going to be really working on is how do you install RPM control arms front and rear to a two-wheel drive Stampede. We have this two-wheel drive Stampede here that has been kind of neglected, has seen better days. It needs refreshed, it needs rejuvenated. And in order to work on the front control arms for this Traxxas Stampede, we're going to loosen up this nut to get the wheel off. And then there is 1, 2, 3 screws here that end up getting the shock removed, the hub removed, and then the control arm off of this front bulkhead. That's all we need to do. So we're literally talking about 4 screws and this thing's going to be loose. We should do it. Go, you can check out new control arm versus old control arm. Not really anything necessarily wrong with these old Traxxas parts, but they just tend to not be as strong or as flexible as these RPMs. We really want these guys to be able to go out and bash and drive and not worry about it. So these are going to go on right back into place. One thing we're going to do while we're here is this factory pin that holds the outer hub in is actually just a pin with a small threaded piece here. And as that goes through, what happens is when you crash, these RPM control arms are so flexible they'll actually spread. So what we have is a whole set from STRC, ST Racing Concepts. It is a captured pin. So on the other end of the pin, one end is a hex and the other end is a threaded nut. And it is just long enough to go through and screw in on the other side. This is a great addition, keeps these ends in very, very nice and tightly. Highly recommended. Check it out. Now, doesn't that look a whole lot better? Brand new RPM control arms on it. That should be stronger, does look better. Now let's move on to the rear. The rear of the truck for the RPM control arms, very similar to the front. 1 screw on the outside, 1 screw on the inside in order to get that control arm off, plus the 3rd screw that holds the shock in. Hub comes off, whole control arm comes off, and we'll be able to put our new ones on. Now there's going to be slightly more to it than that because this Traxxas wheelie bar actually does come down right in front of the screw head. So I'm going to have to take off a couple of these screws and get this wheelie bar removed before we can proceed. Alright, pulled the old one off. Here's the new one. You can see the new one's actually ever so slightly longer, but it has that. You want to watch for sidedness here. So there is a groove in versus a solid side, and this is actually marked left. I doubt you can see that on the screen, but it's actually marked left, which is the one that we want. So that's going to go right back on there. Same thing as before. As we go on, we're going to try to see if we can't use some of these STRC hardware in order to make sure that these are nice and firm. Look at that, new RPM control arms on the rear. Truck should be a lot more durable now. Alright guys, that's it. So we have officially the front and rear RPM control arms mounted onto a two-wheel drive Stampede. Now if you have a Rustler, you have a two-wheel drive Slash, all the exact same process that you go through. I do recommend picking up those STRC hardware kit in order to really make sure these are attached appropriately. We have some more stuff coming up for this truck, so keep in touch. Come over here to the other side of the screen, check out some of the other videos that we have going on. We're going to be doing some shock caps, we're going to be doing the RPM rear gearbox, we're going to be doing all sorts of this stuff, so stay tuned and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for your support, really appreciate it, consider subscribing, we'll see you next time. Thank you, bye.